Welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our third day of the Precious Metals Critical Minerals Conference. Our first presentation of the day is from Empire Metals. Please note, you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for a one-on-one meeting by clicking Book a Meeting at the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Greg Kunzel, Finance Director of Empire Metals, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol EPMLF and on the LSE under the symbol EEE. Welcome back, Greg.
Thank you very much, Greg, and thank you to everyone who's joined us today. I'm going to give you a update and a bit of background on Empire Metals. As Greg mentioned, we are primarily listed in London on AIM and also OTCQX. Empire Metals is focused on advancing the Pitfield titanium project, one of the largest known titanium discoveries in the world. We've been making quite significant progress on over the last couple of years. So Pitfield is located in Western Australia. The project is approximately 3 hours north of Perth. Western Australia, as you might know, is a absolutely tremendous jurisdiction from a mining perspective. It's a tier 1 jurisdiction. It has established mining infrastructure, very strong government support. It is very much focused on a mining, the mining jurisdiction. We recently announced our maiden resource estimate, which came in at 2.2 billion tonnes, grading at 5% titanium dioxide for 113 million tonnes of contained titanium dioxide. This deposit is a giant. The known mineralized area runs for about 40 kilometers by 10 kilometers. That mineral resource estimate of 2.2 billion tonnes only covers less than 20% of the known mineralized area. We have exceptional grade, exceptional continuity. Mineralization occurs from surface. We've actually drill tested it down to 400 meters. And geophysics models suggest that the mineralization goes even deeper, down to potentially 3 to 4 kilometers. Now, that resource is cut off at 100 meters, though. So even in that existing MRE, we have hundreds and hundreds of years of mine life. This is a multi-generational district-scale deposit that has the potential to be sourcing the titanium industry for generations. It's high grade. We have a very unique but simple style of mineralization at Pitfield. It's not a mineral sand. In fact, we don't have any ilmenite in this deposit. I'll talk a little bit more about the geological structure and the weathering situation, but effectively what's happened is we have a primary titanium source, a mineral called titanite, which over hundreds of millions of years, the top 100 meters of that has weathered and produced primary anatase and rutile. So what we have in that weathered zone is effectively titanium dioxide with no deleterious elements, no radionuclides, no refractory material, which means from a mining and a processing perspective, it's very, very simple. But I'll talk more about our processing flow sheet and the work we've done to date on a further slide. We have made absolutely rapid progress. We did our first drill hole into this project just over 30 months ago. And since then, we've drilled 32,000 meters. Every single meter of every single drill hole is in titanium mineralization. We have produced MRE under JORC standard for 2.2 billion tonnes at 5%. We have already produced a saleable product. So we have a conceptual flow sheet that we're currently optimizing, and the plan is to move to pilot scale testing early next year. We're working on scoping studies, development studies, MRE expansion, and probably more importantly, engaging with end users and potential buyers of this exceptional product. A little bit of information on the titanium industry and titanium itself. Titanium is a critical metal. It is on the critical minerals lists of all of your major Western countries, US, EU, UK, Canada, Australia. It's valued because it's extremely light, it's strong, it has the same strength of steel but half the weight, it's corrosion resistant, it's vital for aerospace, defense, medical, energy renewables. Titanium metal is just one component of the industry, though. It's the component that's considered critical. And as I'm sure you're aware, we are currently faced with a geopolitical environment where countries and sovereigns are very much now focused on securing long-term strategic supplies of these critical metals. And we believe that Empire fits into that strategy perfectly, given the long life, the high grade, and the jurisdiction where we're located. The other component of titanium is pigment. It makes up the bulk of what is a $24 billion per annum industry. It's valued for its brightness, its durability, its stability. It's used in plastics, in coatings. Anything that's white or needs brightness or durability has titanium included in it. The main sources to date for titanium have been ilmenite, mineral sands, beach sands, and higher grade rutile. What we're faced with at the moment, though, is a industry and a market where demand is growing, but supply is reducing. A lot of the higher grade rutile deposits are coming to the end of their lives, and any new discoveries tend to be small and are often in fairly challenging jurisdictions, or jurisdictions that may need a lot of work on logistics and infrastructure. 90% of titanium comes from mineral sands and ilmenite. Processing ilmenite into a high-grade feedstock to go into either metals or pigment is expensive. It uses carbon. It's not very clean. And basically what the world needs is a new source of titanium. As I said, low cost. What the world is really looking for is a low-cost premium supply. And we believe that Pitfield presents that opportunity. I've talked about the market conditions. There's continued growth forecast. It tends to grow based on global growth rates, so it's around 3 to 4% per annum. So with the reduction in supply plus that increase in demand, there is a lot of space in the market for a new entrant to come in and meet that demand. One of the biggest, I guess, challenges for Western countries over the past 10 years as well is the Chinese have come in and become quite a dominant player in the market, but with tariffs, anti-dumping laws in the EU and other restrictions now, that is reducing the Chinese supply into the market. So again, when you have a country like the US that has no domestic titanium metal production, looking at securing that has become critical. A little bit more information about, I guess, our project. I alluded to the fact that we have something a little bit different here. It's not ilmenite, it's not a mineral sand, it's not a hard rock igneous ilmenite deposit. What we have is pure titanium dioxide minerals, being anatase and rutile. They're high purity, high grade. Processing those minerals uses minimal waste, lower CO2. The mineralization occurs at surface. There's no overburden, there's no interburden, there's incredible continuity of grade throughout this license area. It's a soft, friable material, so it's free digging, no drilling, no blasting. It's going to be a very, very cheap mining operation. We are located on pastoral land. You'll see a few photos throughout this slide deck. I mean, this is one example. We are basically drilling on wheat paddocks. We have fantastic relationships with the local farmers. I mean, these wheat farmers have very, very big farms. So even when we look to moving towards construction, production, we are only looking at utilizing a very small portion of these land packages. Location. We have an absolutely exceptional location, 3 hours north of Perth by major highway. We are connected. We have rail running straight through the middle of our license area to the port of Geraldton. It's the second largest deep water port in Western Australia. We have access to high voltage power. We have a natural gas pipeline that runs adjacent to our property. We have water. I've mentioned road, rail. We have green energy hubs being constructed in the region. There's wind, solar, geothermal. You literally, if you tried to find a spot to have a major development project, you could not pick a better location than where we are. The town of Three Springs has a history of mining. There's an existing talc mine already operating in the vicinity of the town. We have exceptional support from the local community, support from the federal government, from the state government. We are working very closely with the Australian government, particularly in relation to links with US demand. And of course, being located where we have strategic access to all of the global markets, Asia, US, Europe, and Saudi Arabia. I've talked about the scale, and I think this image on this slide really gives probably the best representation of that. This is, the red is the geophysics anomaly that originally attracted us to this deposit. That red area on that image is 40 kilometers in length and approximately 10 kilometers wide. You can see from the drill markings on that map, we have now drilled along the entirety of that mineralized zone. And as I mentioned, every single drill hole of the 32,000 meters we've drilled has intersected high-grade titanium. Having such a significant deposit presented us with some challenges. We needed to focus. So about a year ago, we decided 2 of these areas, Thomas and Cosgrove, named after the farmers who own the properties where we're drilling on, showed the best prospectivity for higher grade zones, and also presented good sort of positioning for being able to have a starter pit and then scale up operations at a later stage. The bulk of the drilling for the 2.2 billion ton JORC MRE has come from the Thomas deposit. We've done some drilling at Cosgrove. We have diamond drills at site at the moment. We are doing additional drilling focused around identifying the high grade zone at Thomas. That drilling will also be used to increase the MRE and lift some more from indicated into measured. We intend to do further drilling next year, again, looking at expanding the MRE, but more to move it into higher rated categories, into measured categories. We already have a multi-generational, several 100-year mine life, so doing further drilling at some point becomes a little bit redundant. I also talked about the weathered cap. What we have here is something that we haven't been able to find a similar deposit anywhere in the world. Anatase and rutile are well-known titanium dioxide minerals, but they don't usually occur in the abundance that we have them here at Pitfield. Effectively, what's happened is we have this primary titanite, this titanium mineral, that over hundreds of millions of years, the top from the surface down to approximately 60 to 80 meters, Mother Nature has effectively processed this mineral for us. And it's turned the primary titanite into anatase, rutile, and nothing else deleterious. As I said, we have no radionuclides, we have nothing else that complicates the processing. It's low-cost mining, no overburden, no interburden. So from a mining perspective, very, very straightforward. What we decided to do after making that discovery is because of the relative simplicity of the mineral structure, we decided to spend quite a bit of time and focus on the metallurgy and work out just how far we could take these minerals. What could we actually produce from this anatase and rutile deposit? We did our first product testing and released our first results midway through, or sorry, late last year, early this year. We produced a 92% titanium dioxide compound, which was absolutely extraordinary. And then to top that, several months later, following some optimization, we were able to produce a 99.25% pure titanium dioxide pigment. So this isn't just producing a concentrate that will then go to a pigment producer or someone else to further upgrade. We have actually been able to process and produce a pigment quality compound from this ore. The process is simple. We're not using any novel techniques. We're seeing flotation give us the best results on the beneficiation. We're getting exceptional performance from the flotation, and then using a atmospheric acid leach, we've been able to obtain 98% titanium dissolution and produce this 99% plus product. And because we don't have significant amounts of iron in this ore, which is typical from your mineral sands or ilmenite deposits, it means acid consumption is reduced and we have very, very little waste. So from an environmental perspective, that's critical. Our current flow sheet is very simple: low energy processing, low cost processing, conventional separation techniques. I mentioned no drilling, blasting. It's a free dig. Sorry. We run it through a scrubber. The coarse material goes to a gravity circuit. The fines go to froth flotation. And then using an acid leach, this product. The most important thing I think to focus on here is because of the purity of what we've been able to produce and the fact that it has no deleterious elements in it, this product is suitable for premium grade pigments, a multitude of pigment products. It can go into specialty uses such as welding rods, and we are now doing further work on the potential for this pure titanium dioxide product to go into titanium metal production. Obviously very important given the focus and the criticality of titanium metal. So looking forward, we've been setting an absolute tremendous pace over the last 2.5 years. We are currently doing infill drilling at Thomas at the moment. We'll go back with the drill rigs next year into Cosgrove, do further drilling there, looking at increasing the MRE, but also lifting it into more of the measured category. We have ongoing work on the metallurgical studies. We're optimizing our flow sheets. We're testing multiple flow sheets at the moment because we've had initial discussions with end users, and we're very much focused on where in the market this product is going to fit. So we have the ability, given the purity, given the lack of any complicated processing requirements, to be able to adjust that flow sheet so we can produce a product that can fit straight into an end user's requirements. So we're looking at working on the processing route, optimizing the economics, optimizing the products, particularly into the titanium metal supply chain. We're engaging with pigment industry and the titanium metal sponge industry. In early 2026, we're upscaling the work we're doing, so we're going to move to pilot scale production. One of the other tremendous benefits of being located where we are is we just have an abundance of expertise. Being such a huge mining jurisdiction, we have access to multiple large-scale engineering facilities and engineering firms in Perth. So we've been able to design a plan for this next 6 to 12 months that doesn't require us to necessarily build our own pilot plant to be able to move to this pilot scale testing. We're able to use existing facilities with existing engineering firms, which means we're going to be able to move this very quickly and at a significantly lower cost than you would generally have to incur to do that pilot scale production. And we are also working on preliminary engineering and economic studies. Capital structure, I'll just skip over this one because I want to just get on to a little bit about the team and then have some time to take some questions. I think it's important just to talk about the team very quickly because one of the challenges moving from exploration and into development is making sure you have the right people at the right time for the stage of the company. And often exploration success comes down to exploration geologists. And while we have an excellent geological team, our board and our senior management have significant experience in development and turning these types of projects into actual mining operations. Neil O'Brien, our chairman, was head of exploration and new business development for Lundin Mining for almost 20 years. Phil Brummett, who joined us earlier this year, Phil's based in the US. He's a mining engineer. Phil has just decades of experience working for companies like Freeport, Lundin, Newmont, and has been involved in construction and building some very, very big mining operations. Sean Bunn, who's our managing director, he's a metallurgist. He's based in Perth, and as well as being managing director, Sean has pulled together an absolutely incredible team in Perth who've been instrumental in fast tracking this project and will take it through this next level through development. Andrew Faraja, our exploration managers, ex-Rio Tinto. Narelle has worked BHP, some significant and very, very complicated process development rare earths projects. So she's been instrumental in putting together these very, very conventional processing technologies that we're using. Alan, working on studies. Very early on, we appointed an environmental manager. We wanted to get ahead of the game here. Part of our moving from an exploration permit to a mining permit in Australia is having 2 years environmental baseline studies done. We've already done a lot of that work. So we're very much focused on continuing the momentum we've seen. And Michael Tamlin joined us recently. He's a metallurgist, but most of his career has been spent on commercializing industrial minerals and industrial metals. So Michael's very active at the moment talking to our potential end users and buyers of our product. So I guess in summing up, Pitfield is an exceptional, giant scale, long life, high grade, multi-generational project in the right location, able to supply increasing demand in a critical metal. We've been able to produce a very high grade, high purity product, which will attract premium pricing and will also give us optionality, not only being able to go into the pigment market, which makes up the majority of the existing $24 billion market, but also very much focus on the growing and more strategic metals market. We're in a tier 1 jurisdiction, fantastic team, multiple catalysts over the next 6 to 12 months where we believe we're going to unlock significant value. And one thing I will just mention is we are fully funded through this next development phase. We raised £7 million just recently. We have £11 million in the bank. So all well set up for a very exciting 12 months ahead of us. Thank you. And I will move across to some other questions. Okay, question, as Pitfield scales, contemplating an ASX listing, do we see a point where non-core assets are spun out to crystallize the value? Yeah, look, we came out to the market recently, announced that we were looking at a dual listing on the ASX. We believe we're at the point now where it makes sense to look at that. And it's, given the projects in Australia, the management team is in Australia. But by doing that dual listing, we believe it's going to give us much more access to more sophisticated institutional investors, which is really where we need to look at moving the company next. We do have a couple non-core projects, Walton and Eclipse, a small gold project. We're actively looking at spinning those out or getting someone else to take them off us. Our focus is purely on Pitfield. Next question is, the 2.2 billion tonne resource is 58% inferred. What's the timeline budget to move from inferred to indicated? Given the size of the mineralized zone, how much remains undrilled? So this is, the beauty of this is the continuity of grade. As I said, every single drill hole across the mineralized area has hit titanium mineralization. And this isn't like we're drilling out a high-grade gold deposit. This is like a, almost like an iron ore deposit. We have very, very good continuity, which means moving from inferred to indicated, and what we want to get to on this next drill program we have planned for next year is a significant amount of that into the measured category as well. So that's planned for this first quarter of next year. And it's not expensive drilling. Because we're only drilling the weathered cap, that weathered zone, we're able to use air core drilling. So it's very cheap, it's very quick. So we expect to be able to not just grow that resource, but move a significant amount of it into either indicated or measured early next year. And on the entire mineralized zone, we have only drilled less than 20%. But it gets to a point where when we have several hundred years of mine life in those existing zones, I don't think we necessarily get any more value from drilling those other areas. I mean, we'll sort of continue to monitor that, I guess, how much further drilling we do. Have any potential customers asked for samples or started testing our product? Yes, lots of customers have asked for samples. We are currently working on producing those, though. We took almost 100 tonne of material earlier this year, and that's the product that's currently going through the bench scale testing. So our intention is Q1 next year to have samples up to sort of 10 kilogram size samples that we can send to these end users so they're able to do their initial testing. To date, they've seen our spec sheets. I mean, one of the most critical components here is the fact that there are no deleterious elements. So we think it's going to fit very nicely into a lot of people's work streams. Main share price drivers over the next 12 to 18 months, continued work on the metallurgical flow sheet, studies, the drilling, and I think most importantly, discussions with off-takers and end users. I think, you know, starting to get some of the economics around the project as well is going to be key to locking in the valuation here. We're also doing a lot of work with the Australian government working with the Australian government, not just on access to end users, but also introductions to groups in the US and the EU, really trying to take advantage of the scale here. Because when you start looking at sovereign demand, I think scale is what's going to set us apart from everything else. I'm not sure if we have time for any more questions. I think that's us done. But look, thank you everyone for attending today. Really great to have the opportunity to present to you. For any of the questions that I haven't been able to answer, the OTC will send us those, and we will make sure we get an answer out there to those questions. But otherwise, thank you very much, and yeah, appreciate you joining today. Have a great day.